How do the Tesla systems work in their native country? Well, in this short video, we're going to have a look. I did say in a recent video that I did on my autopilot system in my Model 3 when I tested it in the UK, in Liverpool, that it's not suited and not designed for UK roads. And I totally get that. But I have used autopilot a fair bit whilst I've been over here in Florida. And it actually works quite well. It's pretty good. The road layouts are a lot simpler. In a minute, let's just do one of these right turns on red. Always feel naughty doing this. That's important, to stop and wait and see what's going on, because whilst ours is on red, someone else is going to be on green. Make sure, like I said, you stop before the line if you ever come over here, because these pedestrian walkways can still be in operation. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, I did do a video recently on autopilot, and it's not suited to the UK roads, but the American road layout is way simpler. There's very few roundabouts. The junctions are often just like this, big sort of straight, normal traffic light controlled crossroads. Hang on a minute, just making sure I can go. No one else, no. Again, seems so strange doing that, but I must admit I do think it helps traffic flow. Okay, so autopilot, I obviously know how it works. It's exactly the same as my car. The screen's the opposite way around, but it does work pretty well because the lanes are pretty straight. This lorry driver doesn't know what he's doing. I'm just gonna give him a little bit of room, I think. Jesus, what is he doing? I'm gonna hold back. Is he all right? Is that just overloaded? You know what? I'm just gonna hold back here a little second. Sorry for this, but safety's all important. Now, I think I'm going to do the same as this Jeep that's overtaking me. No, he's turning right. Jesus. Okay, all right, back to it. I will get to this in the end. So I obviously know how the autopilot system works. That's not a problem, that's not an issue. Just the screen's the opposite way round, that's all. But it all works in the same way. We've got our steering wheel symbol up here, which says to me that it's recognised and it's okay and it could be used, and you operate it in the same way. So 2 clicks down and we're good. Okay. Looks as though it's speeding up for this. I'm just gonna be careful. Yeah, and again, back to what I've always said about this autopilot. It's very reactive, but it's got less to deal with, I think, complexity wise here in the US, and that's why it works really well. I'm going to see virtually all the way back to my villa what it's like and how much I do have to get involved. So set to the speed limit, I'm doing nothing to move away. I'm always going to be ready to step in, as I've said in the other video, and if you haven't seen it, please check it out. But as I've said in the other video, I always feel a bit sketchy with it. The turning force that you've got to put on the steering wheel seems to be approximately the same sort of regularity as it is in the UK in my car. These lights in the US actually make autopilot not as bad, because the amber light's on for a hell of a long time. So therefore, unless there's increased risk, you don't need to slow down as much approaching these American lights. Autopilot did a good job there. It just backed off. I'm still checking this one to the right. You've got to be really switched on. Like I said, it always makes me feel nervous using this. And again, I've done nothing. I've used no accelerator, I've used no brake, and we're just gonna see what's what. I'd be slowing down at this point, but it does tend to slow down a little bit late. But not bad. It's a pretty good smooth job. This car hasn't got the full self-drive. It's only my hire car that I've hired whilst I've been over here in Florida, and the further system is a fair bit more advanced. So this has just got the basic autopilot, same as my car. Just doing a little bit of steering. Okay, no problems. But you've still got to manage your risk around you. The autopilot system still puts you right next to other vehicles in their blind spot. It doesn't drive in a staggered formation. I just need to put a little bit of steering wheel pressure, but yeah, it doesn't drive you in a staggered formation that I would naturally do, and that's another thing which makes it a little nerve-wracking. However, as you can see, I've not done much. Staying in the lane nicely again. I'd be backing off sooner than this. Got to be careful of this truck. Now, me personally, I would have preferred to have slowed and managed that situation. I might have even let him out in front of me, but there was a big gap behind, so not a big deal. So as you can see, since I've really got onto this road, I've not done much. It's speeded up all of its own accord. It's slowed down all of its own accord, and it's done a pretty good job. There's no in the world I could use autopilot in the UK for this length of time. Don't forget, we're not on, although it's a 55 miles an hour speed limit at this section, it's still sort of like a in-town road with junctions. It's not as if it's a motorway as we would have in the UK. So it does a pretty good job, but like I said, the roads are really straight, they're quite wide. I will say as well that in general, the road surfaces and the markings in the US knock the socks off the UK. It's so much better, so much clearer, and that's probably another reason why autopilot does such a good job with it. So again, I'm not going to do a thing, not touch the car. Could have I sat in that seat? I wouldn't do it. It's against the law, but and it's massively dangerous. But could I have done that at this point? I think I could have done. Coped with that quite nicely. Yeah, corrected its lane position, no problems, all good. Okay, a little bit of turning force again. So as you can see, autopilot is pretty good in the US, and it is something that I have used, like I've said, over here a fair bit more. Now there's a little section a touch further up that I'm going to be heading off. I'm going to be taking this next road. I'm up in Claremont where my villa is, so I'm just going to see how it deals with this scenario. Again, the truck on the right, I'm not sure I'd be going as quick as I am. I have got a little escape route to this side though. Again, it seems to pile in. I think you get the message with it. I have got it set on its greatest distance. You do that with this button here. It was on 7, it's on 7 again. I don't fancy going any closer than that, to be honest. What will it do now with the pickup and the other vehicles coming in? I'm a bit squished here with the traffic to this side. I've had no scary moments with it as well, where it seems to try and spit me off into a different road, like often happens. So, well, we'll see. Now I haven't tried it round this bend. I'm not sure what it's going to do. It's not this road on the right where the black car's coming out from. I'm taking the road that I'm in, or the lane that I'm in. One behind's travelling pretty close as well. So, will it get round this corner? I am so ready for this. How's it going to get on? Pretty good. Not bad. I might have to take over a little bit further up and then reactivate it, because this puts us straight into a right turning lane. So I am going to just, for a little moment, just get shut and then find my way across. And then I'm going to reset again. Still got the wheel. All good. All right. It's not slowed down for this one whatsoever, and now it's going to react heavily. Again, I'm ready for that all the time. But me as a driver, and probably you as a driver, you could see that a mile off. No mentioning the make of the car. I'm not allowed to do that with non-prejudice on my channel. But there is a little bit of a stereotype. But anyway, I think you could see that happening from a mile off, and just as I did, it's an easy job just to back off. The driver of this Audi in front was showing all the clues that they were just going to pull out, but the car still just barrels on and then reacts. So me, I'm not a lover of any of these systems, and it's not just the Teslas. There's systems on other cars. Although I haven't tested many, probably would be nice to do that in the future, but I'm not a lover of these systems. I think they actually do increase risk. I summed it up in the last video that I did. Let's just watch this one doing a right turn on red. Yeah, I summed it up in the last video that I did on my autopilot system. It's like a poor driver with quick reactions. So there's a lack of anticipation. It just reacts really quick. Okay, let's see how we go. So the only time I've actually used the car and activated any controls was on that little bit of a lane change before it wants me to put a little bit more steering pressure. Is the pickup going to come out? No. Good. You've got to watch these so closely if you've got autopilot on. People should pick a decent gap. Again, it's a quite high-ish speed limit road. It's 55 on this. It surprised me that the Audi put a turning signal on. Well done. Again, I'm able to clap because my car's doing the steering for me. Shouldn't take your hands off the wheel though. I'm just doing this for demonstration. I'm not actually sure of the legalities over here of sitting with my hands away like this. Don't know. You should always be ready to intervene, and it's interesting that I've been explaining to one of family members who's over with us, who's from the UK. It's actually my missus's dad, and I've been explaining to him about this system whilst we've been out driving, and it's quite strange because you've got to be ready with your accelerator pedal to fix things as opposed to your brake, because the scariest parts for me are when it brakes, it phantom brakes, and then you've got to override. I dealt with that quite nicely. I overdid it a little bit with the brake, and how would that affect people behind? Well, it could be a little bit of a problem. How's it dealing with this? Okay, so I'm not too far away from where I'm staying, so I think it's probably about time I'll wrap this up. Autopilot in a Tesla in the US, it's a hit, but it's still not for me. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Still haven't touched the wheel. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and Is it something that you would or do use if you're lucky enough to drive a Tesla, or unlucky enough? Depends on which side of the fence you sit. Keep safe, everyone. I'll see you soon.